Brooke and I do this episode pretty much every year.
Yeah, I think we have done it almost every year.
Yes.
Or at least we've done even like the documents back in the day, remember?
Yes.
Yeah.
We might as well bring that document back. I'll just attach it to this.
We should.
But every year we talk about like just different holiday tips for people to stay on track with fitness and nutrition. Because we find November and December especially tend to be like the most difficult months for people because there's so many like holiday parties and just different social outings. So social pressure, which is real. So a lot of this stuff, if you've heard that stuff in the past, might be, repetitive.
But people need reminders, not new information.
Exactly. People need to be reminded more than they need to be taught. So we're going to go over some of our best practices. And then I know Brooke put out a little post there about if there was any additional questions. And we have a few of those that we'll answer at the end as well. So first things first, how to navigate fitness during the holiday season, because fitness and nutrition are obviously very, very different when it comes to November, December. But for me, I think the most important thing is what we do throughout the entire year, which is just to make sure that you have it scheduled in your calendar.
Yeah. I think it still has to be a priority. I think the first thing that I would say is a lot of people probably like October all of a sudden get into the mindset that, okay, well, we're coming into like the past or the last 2 months. And it's just, it's like, it kind of reminds me of, it's like when people say, I'm not a morning person. They automatically will not be a morning person. Just like if you say like, I'm going to gain 10 pounds in the holidays and I do every year, you probably will, right? So I think it's first being like, okay, those 2 months don't have to be a write-off. Even if they happen in the past, it's first getting into the right mindset and noticing if you are continuously going back to the same thoughts every November. This month is going to be hard. Too much shit's going on, so I can't really focus on my nutrition or my health or my fitness right now, is noticing your thoughts about those first 2 months and then trying to change it. But yeah, with fitness, it's like, sure, schedules look different, but if you've been working out 3 days a week, you can work out 3 days a week in those. It's a choice. Yep. So yeah, having it scheduled in and just making sure that it's still a priority.
Yeah, and be proactive with it. Just like everything. Like if it's not on, for me anyways, if it's not on my calendar, it's probably not going to get done. Even if I have little reminders, it's like, no. It needs to be in my calendar. Yeah. So same for workouts. It's like schedule out your workouts. Have a meeting with your partner, significant other, or yourself to figure out what you have going on that week. So there are no surprises of like, actually, you can't go to the 5 a.m. class because blank, blank, blank.
Yeah, it can't be like, I'm going to work out. I'll work out 3 times this week. Yeah, just going to decide one morning that you're going to work out then. Like you need to have it planned in. Yes. One of my clients right now, actually, we're at the beginning of the 12-week program. And she's like, I've talked to my husband. I said, I forget what time, but like there's a time in the evening, an hour, it's mine. I'm going out for a walk. And she's like, I've told him what I need to do. And like, this is my time. And, kids, I'm not available here. And I was like, that's perfect. You need to like ask for help, maybe delegate some things, but like carve out that time and ask for help if needed so that it's scheduled, so that,
for sure,
just makes you more likely to follow through.
For sure. And then also coming up with like some of the standard excuses that you might put out every single year. So one that I always do is like, it's too dark in the morning, I don't want to go for a walk. Or it's too dark after dinner, so I don't want to go for a walk. It's like, okay, no. I understand it's dark. Maybe I buy a flashlight.
I made one of my clients get, I was like, you better get a headlamp.
Yeah.
But she got like reflectors to put on in the morning.
Yes. So it's like trying to figure out the excuses that you make and then overcoming those excuses with whatever.
Yeah. Like it's like knowing your triggers. Know what your triggers are and then like set yourself up so that you're not going to fall into that trap again.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So with your clients, you kind of already touched upon it, but when you talk about like mindset, because we know that this is the time of year where it's like, all right, I know I'm probably going to gain 5 pounds, but come January, I'm going to get back on track and lose it all. What sort of mindset tricks do you give your clients?
Well, I think first I'm like, hey, listen, you can have a great time. You're not going to miss out on memories, connections, and all the good feelings that you get just because you're not going to eat 14 pieces of cake, So it's like just getting them to trust the process. The accountability obviously helps too, but we always go into it with a mindset. So it's not like, okay, we're going into the month and now we're restricting everything and that's just going to make it harder. It's like, okay, let's figure out a way that we can still enjoy it. Like that's what the program's all about. We're not perfect for 12 weeks. We're not avoiding all the things over 12 weeks because I'm like, that's not real life.
Yeah.
And this is going to come up every year. So how are we going to navigate this season that allows you to, you know, go to some work parties or, you know, do a bake night with your kids that you're still going to enjoy. And I think a lot of times people just, they feel like, you know, they're not going to have a good time if they're going to have to limit their food intake, or they're not going to have a good time if they say no. And I'm like, why not? Yeah, you can, right? And then it's like what you practice, you get good at. So you go, I mean, I think I'm going to go off into other questions. So
no, that's okay.
Oh, wait, but like go into it with boundaries, go into it with a game plan and follow through on it. And at the end of the night, they're going to be like, I had a great time.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like a whale, you know? And that just happened at Thanksgiving. I had so many clients that were like, thanks for guiding me through a Thanksgiving where I don't feel like trash.
Yeah.
I'm like, see, it's possible. Just have some, you have control. You have the power. No one's shoving that food in your face. It might be hard, but you can do it. And at the end of the day, like when you can be proud of that decision, next time you go into Christmas or something, you're gonna be like, hey, I did this before and it felt so good. You know, I think there's just a lot of preconceived mindsets and things that social pressure and situations we're just like expected to do these things. And actually, I saw, you might have seen it too, something that Ryan Fisher posted yesterday. Can I bring it up for a second?
Yeah, 100%.
Because I loved it. I saved it. I'm like, yo, this is did I write this or did I just talk to my clients about it?
Ryan Fisher, for those of you who don't know, he owns or he runs like an online little fitness company called Chalk, right?
Little.
Yes, I should have said little.
It's pretty tiny.
It's pretty massive.
Okay. So I'm just going to read through a couple of these slides because I thought they were so good. Okay, let me find. Well, first of all, this is like kind of like he talks about drinking in this first one, but it's kind of the same thing for food. Imagine a world where not drinking needs an explanation. That's exactly where we are with alcohol. It's the one substance people expect you to justify not consuming. We've normalized social pressure around drinking. People can ask why you're not drinking, but rarely ask why you are. Isn't that backwards? Why is it that choosing health makes people uncomfortable? It's strange that taking care of yourselves is often seen as weird when ignoring your body is the real issue. Saying no thanks to alcohol or food or treats is often met with confusion or judgment. But when you take ownership of your decisions, you break free from others' expectations. Just because everyone else is doing it doesn't mean you should. You don't have to blend in. In fact, standing out is where the real change happens. And I always say to my clients, like, because they're like, oh, I don't want to say no. It's hard. And I'm like, be that girl, be that woman, be that person that is empowered by their decisions. Like, yeah, I'm taking care of myself and I feel really great right now. Like, be okay with standing up for the choices that are getting you closer to where you want to be. And there's just, I think, a couple more. Health is an investment, not a restriction. The world might not understand that, but your body does. Every decision shapes the person you become. You don't need to justify a decision that's good for you. It's time to stop explaining yourselves for making choices that align with your goals. The biggest peer pressure doesn't come from high school. It comes from adults at happy hour, and it's time we start talking about that. Being the person who says no in a room full of yes is what sets you apart. The ones who stand for something are the ones who create real change. You're not here to fit in. You're here to level up and make decisions based on where you want to be, not based on who's around you.
That's really good.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's really good.
I'm like, yes, like more people need to see that and like step into that power. So I thought that was, I'm glad I remembered that because I saved it. Like, this is what we're talking about. It's
really good. I think, and I know that's going to be one of the points we talk about when it comes to like holiday parties is the ability to say no. And, you know, I think of like, I know not all of you guys listening have kids, but I think of Mateo. Like as Mateo gets older and he's going to have situations where I as a parent hope he can say no. Why would I not put that same stress on myself, right? It's like I expect my son to say no to maybe drinking alcohol when he's underage. Why can I not say the same for myself? Not that I'm underage, but you know what I mean? It's like we don't have to. We're gonna be presented with all this social pressure. Like we need to be confident in our goals and our whys that we can say no to these things. Yeah, and I think another thing to remember too is like, let's say you are someone who has always went to the family gatherings and you've always had dessert, you've ate the appies and you've always drank. So that first Christmas that you come and you don't do that, people are gonna be like, what the hell? What are you doing? Like, what's wrong? Because they don't know your boundaries or your standards. But when you stay true to that and you've done that a few times,
Next Christmas, when you have done that at Easter and the birthday parties, and it's, again, not that you're being boring, but you're maybe a little bit more mindful, you're more in control. Probably next Christmas, they're not going to say anything. People will start to respect your boundaries when you are strong around them.
Yeah.
Right? So they're going to be like, I'm not going to ask Isaac why he's not drinking. The first couple times, sure.
Yeah.
Because like, why? This is so weird. Why aren't you?
Yeah.
But then when you stay true to those, it's like, okay, that's just what Isaac does.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's important to stay true and consistent. Then people respect your boundaries. If you're going to give in to peer pressure, you're going to get that all the time because they're going to expect you to change.
And you don't say to your clients, you can't have a sip of alcohol. You can't have the dessert.
Never, because it's not those one things that ruin it either.
So that's, I think, the thing too, is like, just for those of you guys listening, just know we're not saying, hey, don't have any of the pumpkin pie. Don't have any of the Christmas crack. It's like, no, you can do these things. It's just like, rather than having 17 pieces of Christmas crack and 13 pieces of cake, it's like, okay, maybe you have half a piece of cake and a little bit of Christmas crack. Whatever.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of nuance to that too, because it depends on the person and their goals and where they're at. If you know going to this Christmas party, if you have one drink, you're automatically going to slip and have 10.
Yeah.
If you have that one piece of Christmas crack, you're going to finish the plate, then you shouldn't. Right? So I think it's different for every people. And I think it's about being very honest with yourself. Like we were talking about our weaknesses in the group, right? Like if I put my hand in that chip bowl, I'm going to hang around that chip bowl and I'm going to have about 50.
For sure.
Or the whole bag.
For sure.
So if I'm trying to be more diligent, I know for me, that's a line I'm not going to cross because I'm probably not going to come back.
Yeah.
Right? So it's really about knowing yourself and your triggers and your weaknesses and then having a game plan for that.
Yeah. And what works for you might not work for me and so on and so forth, right? Like I know there's some people that are like, all right, well, if I just get a little bowl and put chips in the little bowl,
I will refill the bowl.
I'm only going to eat what's in the bowl. It's like, okay, it's great for you.
Yeah.
For me, I'm going to fill that bowl and then I know the chips are still in the house. I'm going to go back to the chip bag and fill up that bowl again.
And that's why you don't bring the chips in the house.
Exactly.
Right?
So it's like, for me, it's like, I just can't have it in the house.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, being able to say no, I know it seems so simple.
But it's not.
It is definitely not.
Yeah.
I talked about this a long time ago, where like culturally it could be a little bit different as well. Like I come from a very, very traditional Portuguese family and food is like, it's just so important, right?
I get that. Yeah.
So,
I get Portuguese.
So if I say no, it's kind of almost like an insult. Like, well, you don't want my cake?
Especially with like the older generation.
Yeah.
You know, like my mom's side was Austrian and, you know, Luke's side's Portuguese. So it's like those grandparents they want you to eat their food.
100%.
Right? Like, are you full? Here, have more. Have 3 plates. Keep eating.
And you know, knowing that, so like if my mom makes a cake and I know she put a lot of time into it and it makes her happy that I'm having it, it's like, okay, I'm going to have a piece of my mom's cake. That's fine. But I don't have to have a massive piece.
Yeah. Or you can I'll tell people to take it home. You don't have to say no. You can take it.
Oh, that's
you could
good.
eat half or be like, yes, I really want this and I'd love to have it tomorrow night.
That's really, really
Maybe
good.
you don't eat it though, you know, if you really don't want to, but you're still accepting of it. You can't be like, no, I can't have that. I'm on a diet.
Yes.
Like, don't ever say that.
No.
Or, you know, not I can't have it. Be grateful. Love it. You can say, oh, I know this is so delicious. This is my favorite. Thank you so much. Can I pack it up?
That's really good.
Yeah.
I not say I never thought of that, but I've never thought of that.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, cool. Another thing that we usually talk about at the beginning of this is don't wait until January, because that's the other bit with this time of year. We see it all the time in just like the way people come into our gym in November and December. It is usually slower months. And then of course, January, February, March are crazy. So don't wait until January. Like we know if people join our gym November and December, those are usually the ones that stay a lot more committed to their goals. So I didn't want to call people out, but I wanted to
we're going to call people out?
No, I'm not going to, because just in case. But I wanted to show you just the list of members that joined last November and December. We're not going to call these individuals out. But if you look at this list, 91% of all of those people are still here today.
Oh, yeah.
Which is really, really cool.
Yep.
So I meant to pull the info from 2 years ago as well. But not only are those people still here, but like crushing it.
Yeah, actually.
Absolutely crushing
it.
So it's cool to see like, hey, if you join a gym during these months, which we know are like, it's harder to motivate yourself. It's hard to start to come to the gym when it's getting cold out and the seasons are changing. It's like, no. This is the toughest time of year. So if you can just persevere during this time, the rest of the year is so easy.
And can we just say that our gym is so fun this time of year.
Oh, yeah.
You walk into a friggin' gingerbread house, November 14th.
Yeah.
We're going to,
Yeah.
or
15th
the
or
12th,
something, whatever.
15th. We're decorating the gym. We're already excited about that. It's an amazing place. I also think it's important to, I know we have challenges, we won't go into that, but is know that you can jump in right now without giving it 100%. You know, there's this a lot of people like, well, I'm not going to be perfect right now, so I'm going to wait until January. It's like, just start now. If this is now, you're going to be committed to working out 2 or 3 times a week, and that's all you're doing that's different.
Yeah.
That's great. You're not jumping into training and restrictive with your nutrition and doing all these things. Just jump in, get into a community, and come move your body 3 times a week. If that's better than what you did last year, that's a big win. And at least you'll stay like in the groove, and also you'll have that community and accountability, which is so important. I think if you're starting something new, that accountability is so key. Yeah. Right. So I think it's a great time to join and be okay with like, all right, like, you know, I'm not joining something so strict. Just come move.
100%.
Move for a few times. Trust me, everything's going to be so much better.
100%. And obviously we're biased, so it's like come to Movement Strength. But like at the end of the day, just go somewhere. Yeah, doesn't matter where.
Yeah, or even just like start more movement. Like 100%. Work out with your friend in the basement, or
do it
like
from home.
Go for a walk 3 times a week. Start a little winter walking group. You know, that would be fun.
There we go. Actually, don't do that. We'll do it. No,
well, no, I did my walking group, and then I had the nerves thing, so I had to stop. That's why I haven't been doing it, because I can't walk that long. But we have been talking in the summer. Are we still going to walk in the winter? And I said, yeah, because there's no such thing as bad weather, just bad gear. So we're going to dress warm. We're going to go for a walk. Think about when you walk on a sunny, snowy day.
Oh, it's amazing.
Right?
Okay, so side quest on this, because we're going to move our run club to Saturdays.
Yeah.
Or like the weekend. I wonder if we can do it at the same time. Because I know a lot of the times people are like, oh, I want to do, like, do you guys have a walking group? Or it's like, oh, if we did it the same day, that could be really cool too. Yeah. Side quest. Anyways.
Add it to our ideas.
Yeah, mine and Brooke's endless amount of ideas list. We have a novel. What were we talking about? We were talking about joining now.
Joining now, not waiting for January.
The other thing, and this is kind of specific to Movement Strength, but to your point, one thing that we're doing different this year as well, with just like new members coming in the past, you know, it was always like, okay, we want to make sure people have the understanding of nutrition and fitness and habits. And we did the whole thing at the front, which we still think is one of the best ways. However, now we have, if people do just want to come straight into just doing the fitness side of things, they totally can do that. And the reason I say that is, rather than focusing on like, I have to be perfect with nutrition and fitness, it's like, to your point, no. What about, let's just focus on the fitness for now. And then if that's already more than you were doing before, that's a great win. And maybe you can't come to the gym 4, 5, 6 days a week. Maybe it's just like 2, maybe 3. Perfect. Like we'll start there. Maybe it's 1. We'll start there as well. So I think it's just starting now. Don't wait till Monday, or don't wait till January. Just do it now.
Creating those small wins at the beginning. And that might just be showing up to a gym. That's the hard part for you. Also, let's just say, for the people that start in January, we're not like, oh, fuck, you're the people that just sucked in the last 2 months. Because there are a lot of people, and we understand there's like, people have different lives and schedules. And I do love that people want to go into things with the mentality of, I want to do my best. So that is why some people, because they're like, no, I want to be able to give it 100%. Yeah. So they wait till January, which is okay. But we are encouraging positive things, even whether if you're not joining a gym or a program in November, December. It's like, maybe you can just start putting in some positive movements or nutrition changes that so you don't feel like you're digging yourself out of a massive hole January 1st.
Absolutely. We always say, like, I know for me, when I'm working with clients during this year, some of them will come in with very lofty goals, like, okay, I'm going to do this and this and this. And it's like, all right, I love this. Let's move with that energy. That being said, even if we just if every single November, December, people gain 5 pounds, maybe the goal shouldn't necessarily be to lose weight, but it's just, let's not gain weight during the next 2 months. And then you've already started January way ahead of where you've started for the previous 5 years.
Yeah. And that's a win, right?
100%.
So I've had so many clients come back from vacation and being like, I'm the same. You know, they would just always expect, coming back from vacation, that they're going to be 7 pounds heavier, 10 pounds heavier. It's like, and they're really excited about that. And again, see, it's possible. Yeah. So you don't have to that is a win, not going backwards, but maybe not making huge leaps for it. There's wins there for sure.
So some things to do during the holiday season, more like just nutrition, fitness, pretty much everything. We've already touched upon a few. Change your mindset, right? The holiday season. Yes, change your mindset around what's going to happen in the holiday season. Don't wait until January. That's a big one. We've already kind of touched on this one, but like setting goals now. So come up with realistic goals that you can accomplish during November, December.
Yeah.
Joining things like a holiday challenge, right? We have our holiday accountability challenge that will be starting, I think, on the 18th, if that's the Monday, November 18th. And we're doing things a little bit different this year around that. But like there's a ton of different challenges out there. If there's not a challenge, maybe you just get like an accountability buddy.
Yeah.
But just having something that makes it a little bit more fun to stay true to your fitness and
then
nutrition
thinking
goals.
about like how do you want to feel on December 28th, once like Boxing Day, how do you want to feel then? Do you want to feel like, oh, I regret the past 2 months, I feel disgusting? Or do you want to feel like, oh, I kind of had my shit together and like I feel better than I would have in the past, so I think and then backtrack, like what's going to make you feel that way? Is it moving? Is it putting small little changes into your nutrition, little rules that you want to abide by?
Yep. And I think, if we think about, we definitely feel people shouldn't regret, going to these holiday parties and having fun. But I think a lot of the times the thing that does lead to people not feeling the greatest about what they did during the holidays is the amount of parties that people attend.
Some of the questions that we've had.
Exactly. And the amount of like food that's going to be presented, maybe not at a party, but like people bring in baked goods to whatever, the office or something like that. So, the next little bit, we're just going to talk about just some strategies that you can do when you come to a party or something like that. So the first one I have here is bring your own treats to a holiday party. And what I mean by treats is literally like people usually bring something. It's like a potluck style. So bring something that is something you enjoy eating, maybe something that's a little bit more on the healthy end. So I know it seems boring, but like
there are a lot of
veggies and dip or fruit and dip. So it's like you just know if you're near that table and you're picking at something, you can pick at your vegetables.
There's going to be at least one option that you're going to feel good about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Anything to elaborate on that one, or is that one pretty easy?
Yeah. Just bring something that you're going to be okay with eating.
Yep. Okay. Cool. Next one, don't go to a party hungry.
Worst thing you can do. You're setting yourself up for disaster. We all know this.
Yeah.
Like even back in the day, I remember like, oh, we have like a big family dinner. It's like you kind of maybe don't really eat as big as you would because you're just so excited to eat all the appies. And then you've consumed way too much before the main course and you just feel gross. It's like, don't go hungry. Because when you're hungry, you don't have control. Your decision-making skills are not the same. You are like your emotions and hunger take over. You just don't have as much control. Have a small meal. I always tell my clients, like, have a protein shake before you go or on the way.
Yeah.
Protein shakes are satiating. They're filling and they're also like kind of sweet. So like, it's a great thing to tie you over. That way you're not like, where's the food table and like glued beside it. You'll have way more control.
I know James Clear in Atomic Habits. I feel like I bring up this book every single
because it's so good.
It is so good. Everyone needs to read it, and it's an easy read. But he talks about willpower and like how as the day goes on, your willpower dwindles. And most holiday parties or, meals and stuff are at the end of the day. So it's like not only if you don't eat are you starving, but your willpower is also a lot lower as well. So it's like it's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, and if you've had a stressful day, like
100%.
Be like really looking forward to that wine or all the stuff.
So I know for myself, I definitely don't go hungry, but I definitely try to front load any sort of protein in those days as well. So
same.
To your point, having like a protein shake or just like a very, very rich protein heavy breakfast.
Yeah.
Because
manipulate the carbs a little bit because you probably know you're going to have more of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I usually will be like, I'm more so on the fat. Like I just will try to eliminate fat during the day because it's like if you're having baked goods, there's going to be butter, there's going to be all these things. Brooke laughs because I have a vendetta against it. But I usually try to like get my protein goal almost in before I go to the party because there's probably not going to be solid protein options there.
And we know when you eat enough protein, your cravings are less, you're more satiated, your blood sugar levels are more even. Like, too many good things.
Do's it up. Learn to say no. We've already kind of talked about this one. Is there anything else you want to elaborate on or?
No, like make it a challenge, do it. Like get in the right mindset, challenge yourself and it gets easier. I think it's really, really important because I think at the end of the day, you don't want to be like, and some people do regret going, oh, why did I eat that?
Definitely.
I didn't want it. Everyone was just like, I didn't want to say it, blah, blah. Like, that's a horrible feeling.
Yeah.
Feeling like you didn't have control and you gave in to something you truly deep down did not want to do. So yeah, say no.
And it's hard.
It is.
That is super hard.
You know what I remind people is that they can do hard things and
100%.
do it once. You just need to associate the win and the feeling that comes with saying no. And at the end of the night, you're going to be like, okay, like I can do this again in 2 weeks when something comes up because it was worth it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The other one is, I mean, depending, if you look at your holiday season, you kind of have an idea of what parties you're going to have, how many you're going to have. So it's like maybe you pick one party, one or two, depending how many there are, where you're like, I'm going to maybe let loose a little bit more and not stress as much about this one. So for like myself, maybe it's the movement Christmas party.
Yeah.
So it's like, I know that one, members like to see us as coaches kind of letting loose as well and be like, oh, wow, they're human.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, that one maybe is the one where I'm going to have 4 cookies instead of 1.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay to kind of plan those parties ahead of time, as long as you know and you stay true to like, all right, it's that one. It's not, oh, well, this one and then this one and then this one.
Yeah. It's like maybe that work party or that friends or whatever, where maybe you're not going to know as many people there. You feel like you're not going to be as social. Maybe that's one where you're like, you know what, I'm not going to drink tonight and I'm going to have dinner beforehand. Maybe I'm just going to have like a couple snacks. I think the important thing is on the ones where you feel like a little bit more indulgent, it's not normally those like one-off occasions that ruin things. It's the next day. Like if you wake up feeling like shit, you think you're going to want to have a salad for lunch or like, a high protein breakfast? Probably not. You're going to want something heavy and possibly greasy. You're going to want to go out, like, let's be honest. Like if you're hungover, you're not craving healthy food. So I think it's having the next day planned out. Like maybe you have your breakfast ready and you have, your tea, your supplements, your water, your greens out on the counter so that when you wake up, that's what you're going to do. It's like important to get back into routine the next day. It's where it becomes a slippery slope. You feel like garbage and it's 4 days until you're back on track. Well, now it's been a whole week of vacation for your body.
100%.
So I think that's an important thing.
Yep. And then last one we've already kind of touched upon as well is just like that accountability buddy. So if you are a part of Movement Strength, obviously there's a lot of built-in accountability, but even having some sort of accountability buddy on top of that, that you can communicate with, like, oh man, I got this party going on. Like, what should I do? Or like, I'm going to follow up with you on Monday, letting you know how the party went. Like, I think it's good to have those little buds.
It's important to surround yourself with people who are going to support you and maybe have the same goals. Not everyone has that. So whether that's like joining a gym or finding those people that are going to support you in that decision, it's really powerful because when you feel like you're alone going through the journey and everyone is going against you, and not everybody has the support at home. Some people just like, they're going to let you do what you want and will do everything to tempt you and not really care if you're on track. So I think, having an accountability partner, buddy, joining a community, even if you're only there twice a week, just to like connect with that group can be really powerful. Yeah,
cool. Those are all the ones I have on my list. Is there any other ones that just kind of come top of mind for you before we go to the questions?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we cover a lot of good stuff.
Last one, just to kind of throw this on you. When it comes to habits, like if there was one sort of habit that you would encourage people to try to develop during November, December, what would that habit be? And I'll go first to give you time to think about it.
I already got one, but go for it.
Mine would be to set up some sort of like step goal or just walk more, like have a bare minimum 20 or 30 minute walk every single day for those months.
Yeah.
We just know the more we move, right, we're burning more calories. If we do have some sort of weight loss goal, blah, 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 blah. But more so, walking is going to be beneficial all the time. So if you can make that a habit during the most difficult time of year, November, December, then maybe you can just hold on to that habit for the rest of your life, and that's just going to benefit you. So moving more throughout the day is key. And I think just having a step goal or a timed walk every single day would be a really, really solid habit to introduce.
Couple things. One with the walking, like that's one of the things that we really focus on in the 12-week program. And if you're not someone who walks on a regular basis, it's something else to add in, and it can feel like a chore. But what I have found is like almost every single person who does my program falls in love with walking.
Yeah.
I can't literally they carry it on. It's their time. It becomes their space. Like it's a disconnect from everything else, and they love it. So good. Okay, so mine would be during this season is to have like 1 or 2 non-negotiables that you can check off every day, especially if it's a season where you know you're not able to, I don't want to say give a full effort, but maybe do all the things that we'd want to do come January. It's this way, every day you are checking a box in your wellness department.
That's great.
So that, and it can be as simple as drinking your water first thing in the morning, having your greens, maybe it's having your supplement, maybe it's going for a walk on your lunch break, maybe it's not snacking after dinner. Like just have something that you can check off every day. So you're going to bed and you're like, I did that one thing. I did that one thing. That becomes consistency. And then you don't have a day where it's like, I didn't do anything. You just learn to like not throw your hands up in the air in a busy season, be like, can't do anything right now. It's like you just have a non-negotiable. It can be so simple, but it will allow you to feel really good.
Love it. It's a really good one. Okay, questions.
Okay, yes.
Questions from the peoples.
Okay, let me bring them up here. Okay, first one. Be disciplined the whole time or indulge and then reset post-Christmas. Your thoughts? You want to go first or you want me to go first?
You can go first. And I'll say this too. Like I think a lot of the questions we probably already
we've kind of covered.
Yeah.
But we might be able to say like 1 or 2 things.
Yep.
I would say do not indulge for 2 months. That you're not going to feel good.
Yeah.
You're not going to feel good. And again, I think this is where you have to really know yourself. Like indulge in a couple parties, sure. And what's the definition of indulge?
Yeah.
Is that like just at dinner? Does that mean like you're having whatever you want for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? I think indulging is okay. But again, with like the parameters we've talked about, is like having your next day set up. I don't think anyone feel good if they were just like, I'm going to like check out for 2 months and just do whatever I want. So don't indulge for 2 months. And be disciplined. Why not?
Yeah.
You're going to feel good. You're not going to regret it. And learn how to be disciplined while and being disciplined doesn't mean that you're not indulging at all. You can still have those, couple times. But yeah, I would say don't check out for 2 months. Stay as disciplined as possible, but give yourself some grace at different times.
Yep. Yeah. I think, I'll reiterate that discipline is a muscle. And if we can
if we can
work on that muscle during November, December, it's going to be so strong come the rest of the year, and everything else will just seem so much more simpler. So
yeah,
you could still have the days that, maybe you'll let loose a little bit more. But, let's try to really flex that discipline muscle. And remember, it's progress, not perfection. We're not saying don't enjoy life at all during the next 2 months, but just be a little bit better than you were last year.
One more thing. When people tend to not be disciplined in those months because it's scary, I think those people also have an all or nothing mindset. So that means like, if I can't do it perfect, like I'm just not going to do it. It's first of all, it's practicing getting rid of that, but also knowing that if you can even maintain during the holiday season, think about how, I feel like every season, like fall, winter, like if you have kids or what, everyone has a different busy and you're always going to be busy. But like this month, 2 months especially, if you can manage in this time, like what's going on in April and May, I don't know, but like you could probably handle it better if you can handle your shit in this time of year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Love it.
Okay. I really like this one. I think this is a great question. I'm trying to change how do I relay that to family without guilt? Well, I guess we kind of did go over that at the very beginning. So I'm going to say like rewind and listen to that first part because we did specifically talk about that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say the next question because it goes in line with this, but I think we'll be able to like dig in on this a little bit better.
Do we want to answer this one at all quickly or no?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing would just be communicating in a way with your family ahead of time of like just kind of what your goals are during the holiday season, and not saying, hey, I'm trying to lose weight, but like if it's honestly, I find a lot of the times after these holiday parties, I just don't feel good, which is true for most of us. So it's like, I know if I'm going to limit myself a little bit more, I'm just going to feel so much better the next day.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I was going to say is be careful how you word it. Not like, I can't have chocolate. I am not drinking. I'm not allowed alcohol for the next 40 days.
Yeah.
It's like, explain how you want to feel. I'm doing this because I really want to feel good. I really want to have energy in a season that demands so much of me.
Yes.
Explain how you want to feel. People are probably going to be a little bit more receptive to that. And they're not going to be like, why the hell do you want to feel energized? Why do you want to feel good? Yeah. But like, they're going to question, why don't you want to drink? Maybe, right? So I think explaining how you want to feel opposed to maybe the guideline or structure that you're following.
Yeah. Yeah. And then as a reminder, right, if it's Nona that's asking you, you can be like, hey, Nona, can we maybe just wrap up that piece of cake and I'll have it tomorrow?
Yeah, because they probably won't understand.
Exactly.
They think you need meat on your bones.
100%. So it's like that little trick that Brooke came up with, I think is really, really good.
How do I talk to my family and kids about why I may not be eating the same stuff? This is something I mean, 95% of my clients, 99 even are moms. A lot of them are moms, right? So this is always something that comes up. People are like, am I going to have to eat completely different from my family for 12 weeks? And I'm like, no. And but at the same time, if the way you're eating with your family does not serve you and is taking you to the place where you don't want to be,
100%.
You are going to have to eat different.
Yeah.
And again, how you explain this. Hey, Mom, why aren't you having pizza tonight? You know what, buddy? I love pizza, but Mommy feels way better when I am having this. I'll have pizza with you next weekend.
Yeah.
Not Mommy's trying to get skinny. So I'm like, don't ever say that.
Yeah.
And, I can't have this. I'm always very careful about how I talk around food, especially around kids. I think we should be. But yeah, just like remember why you're doing it. And this is where you need to practice disconnecting or feeling like I'm losing out on memories. I'm losing out on connection with my family. No, you're not. You're all there eating together.
Yeah.
Focus on that, the atmosphere and the energy around the food, opposed to what's on your plate.
Yeah.
Kids aren't going to question you that much. They're going to be like, okay. If they see you happy, then that's really all they care about. They want to see if you're sitting there like looking down or being like, oh, I wish I was having that. Then they're going to be like, why can't you? Like enjoy what you're eating. Remember your why. And again, feel empowered. Like if they see you talking about it this makes Mom feel really strong. I feel really great in the morning when I have that. They're probably like, can I have a bite? So I think it's important how you talk about it is a very important thing and definitely something that people should think about before they say those things.
I don't know, maybe you don't agree with this, but I also don't think you are going to be eating that much different than your family. Maybe the amount that you're eating is different, but it's like, to me, all right, so if you have pizza night every single Friday, I don't necessarily think you have to get rid of the pizza every single Friday. So maybe rather than having two pieces, you still have that one piece. Your kid's still going to see the food on your plate.
And you have it with a side salad or veggies and dip.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, maybe on pizza nights, though, it's also movie night. So you have chips. And that's maybe where you kind of like be like, all right, Mommy's going to have some pizza. Instead of having chips, you're having vegetables that you've cut out ahead of time anyways. And those vegetables are open to your family to take as well. And there's chips beside it, but you're just deciding to go for the vegetables. So like you kind of avoid questions that way.
Yeah.
But you still can educate like, oh yeah, Mommy feels a lot better when she has vegetables. Mommy doesn't feel too good when she has.
Yeah. And I just helped a
whatever.
client. We modified, I don't know how many recipes last week that she was making for the family. How can I make this one a little bit more in line with what we're doing?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take out this. Or we'll add this in or, change this amount. So it's not like you need to eat chicken and broccoli every day and be boring.
For sure.
It's about just learning how to modify things. What can I add in or what do I need to take away that's going to make it a little bit better for me so I'm still eating the same thing. I also think it's important to practice eating for fuel and eating for what's actually going to make you feel good and not feel like you need the gourmet, fancier things. Yeah.
Yeah. Side quest on this real quick. What time is it? Yeah, we're good. Okay. So I know Mateo's still really, really young and not at like the age where he just wants sugar all the time. But like we've purposefully not given him that much sweeteners or sugar. Like he's not having cookies and stuff like that. Every once in a while, but not very often. He doesn't actually like it. So two things. On the weekend, on Sunday, I wasn't there, but Caitlin was telling me that we do Sunday dinner every single Sunday, and there's always some sort of dessert. So
like at your parents?
Yeah. So my mom made this cake and she's always excited to give Mateo sugar because it's just the world we live in with my Portuguese parents, right?
Parents don't want to gift the kids
no.
celery.
100%. So my mom made a bunch of squash and then she made a bunch of like treats and stuff. So my mom gives Mateo a piece of cake and he's like eating the cake and he like puts the cake down and he's like, I want squash.
Oh
They're like, are you kidding me? So that's the first thing. And then yesterday, I had to stop at the grocery store to pick up something before I went home, and we're in the aisle to pay, and obviously there's all the chocolates, right? And like I just think most kids being like, oh, I want Kinder Surprise, blah blah blah, and there was an apple that just happened to be there, and he's like, apple, I want an apple, please, apple, please,
Begging
please.
for the apple.
I'm like, this is amazing. Daddy's gonna buy you the apple.
Yeah,
we're gonna get you that Honey Crisp.
I think that's, and we're kind of on the same lines in terms of our kids are a little bit older, but like when they're that young, they're not missing out on a chocolate bar, so don't give it to them.
No.
This is my personal opinion.
Yeah,
we're not judging any parenting out there at all.
100%.
But yeah, like my kids at that age don't know what a granola bar or a chocolate bar is, so like they're not going to miss out on life because I didn't give them candy or chocolate.
Yeah.
They want the apple because that's all they know. They don't even know what that other thing tastes like because they don't have it. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be naive because I know Mateo is, he's 2.5. He's not.
Yeah,
at
just
that
give it
age
2
yet.
years.
No, but like even things like he thinks all bars are protein bars because that's all we have in the house.
Yeah.
So he's like, protein bar? Can I have a protein bar? So it's like I do think there is probably something to they're doing what you're doing.
Absolutely.
They're seeing what Mateo just sees what Kate and I eat.
Yeah.
So obviously, but anyways, I thought that was funny.
Yeah, it's great. This one doesn't have to do with nutrition or anything, but it was funny. What the hell do I buy a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old? I don't know.
Well, I mean, so because Mateo's around those
there you
ages.
go. What do you?
I always think. Okay, so Caitlin, I know she wants to get Mateo this Yoda player. I don't know. If you've asked the question, you probably know what this thing is. I don't know. It's like some MP3 player for kids. Drives me a little crazy. But the whole idea is it's not as much screen time. Like it's literally just like this box that like you put in different cards and it'll play music.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So that's cute. But I always think of gifts that like can get them moving and active. So like last year,
You're getting him in like a rig, a little mini rig.
yeah. Last year, I asked my family to give him like the little basketball net, the Tykes basketball net, because it keeps him active. Another really good one is like a Strider bike.
Yeah.
So
balance bikes.
Yeah, there's like the balance bikes for like the older kids.
Yeah.
But then there's one we got Mateo. I don't know the name. We got it for him last Christmas, so he's 1.5 years. And there's like thicker wheels, like almost 2 thick wheels at the front and 2 thick wheels at the back. So if he's just sitting on it without holding it, it still stays stationed. Okay. And he is obsessed with that right now. So it's kind of like something to give them before the true Strider bike. And what's nice about that is he goes for walks with us on that. So it's like it keeps him active, and then he wants to go outside and walk, and we're like, all right, there's my walk for the day.
And he can keep up with you more
he's faster.
So than if he's walking.
He's way faster.
That's good. I also think like, depending on the age, but if they're around 1, just give them a box of some tissue paper.
Yeah.
Give them some old Tupperware. Let's be honest.
So
if you have
true.
kids, they don't give a shit. They just want to play with the leftover garbage in boxes.
Yeah.
And don't give gifts with 1 million pieces. I can't tell you how many little toys. My kids are not getting toys.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good one.
Yeah. And then we already went over this one, but we'll acknowledge it anyways. How do you manage all the Christmas parties every weekend? I think we went over that pretty well.
Yeah, I think so too. Just, have an idea of what things are going to look like before. Bring your healthy treat so you have something good to eat.
Pick and choose the ones that you want to indulge in.
100%. Make sure you don't skip all your meals that day and go hungry. Front load your protein.
There's one more question that I would just want to make sure we covered, which I'm pretty sure we did.
Yes, if we did miss any, sorry. Sorry.
Oh yeah, we already went over all this. Any tips to stay on track in a season of food and drinks?
Yeah,
covered.
Pretty much the whole.
I think we give a lot of good tips.
I think so.
Today?
That's pretty long, 45-ish minutes.
Yeah, but it
was good.
A lot of gold in this one.
A lot of gold.
A lot of good stuff.
Cool. Any other bits that you think we need to go over? Things that we forgot?
No.
Anything
just make
coming to
yourself
mind?
proud. Make yourself proud at the end of each day.
100%. And you're not going to be perfect.
Nope. And then I'm just going to tell my one rule that I have. Like, if you're going to have a bad day and an off day, that's fine. Don't let it happen 2 days in a row.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good little one to go by.
It's another James Clear, Atomic Habits.
Yeah. Is it?
He always talks about never missing twice.
Oh, okay.
So if you have a goal of like, okay, I'm going to have 7 glasses of water every day.
Yeah.
And then one day you
miss it.
It's
Don't miss it again.
Exactly. Don't miss it.
Because everybody knows it's like when the longer you don't do something, the harder it is to get back on track.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's a great way to end it. Don't miss twice. Don't let it happen 2 days in a row.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you for taking time to be here today, Brooklyn.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you for bringing your bone broth.
Yep. There's none left for you. You can't have any.
It looks amazing.
I know. You missed out. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Brooke.
Bye.